Welcome, my little couch potatoes, to the comfiest courtroom on the internet. I'm your host, Llama, and it's time for dramatic testimony, overruled objections, and absolutely unqualified opinions. So grab your snuggiest blanket, some delicious snacks, and get ready to watch court with your internet besties. This is Couch Court with Llama.
Good morning, couch potatoes. Good morning. Hope you're all doing great today. A little bit later start than yesterday, even though for some reason I woke up at 8 in the morning. Not happy about that. Anyway, good morning to all of you. Good morning, 80s Music Man. Hope you're doing great today. Lady in Gray, good morning to you. You guys, tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern, Lady in Gray and I will be right here for True Crime and Wine Time, where we're finishing up part 2 of the John List Nightmare. And you guys, I hate that guy so much. I hate everything about him. He is the worst. So you will get some rants just like last week. And if you didn't watch last week's, go watch that before this one. We will do a brief recap, but that guy is... I'm going to have some rants tonight. That's for sure. Good morning, Dave. Good morning. Hope you're doing great. Teresa, good morning, babe. Hope you're doing great as well. Yes, John List is such a nightmare. Ugh, that guy. That freaking guy is awful. So, you guys, yesterday we finished up the Brooks Houck and Joseph Lawson trial. We did the whole thing. The longest closing arguments I've ever been a part of. Oh my God, what is it? It was hard. It was tough. Thank goodness we were all together going through it together because, wow, they basically just redid the whole trial in closing arguments. Obviously, both were found guilty. Some people, including myself, were like, oh, I don't think they really proved that. But nonetheless, that's what the jury decided. And the jury did ask a lot of questions. And the guy that kept with the earbuds, he was already not on the jury. So that is what they decided. So today, you guys, though, we're going to the longest lecture from Dad. Oh, that Shane. Not a fan of prosecutor Shane Young, that's for sure. Am not a fan. Yes, you guys, don't forget to hit the like button. Lets people know that we're live, and we got a busy day here. So we're going to have fun today, I think. Lady and Gray says those were not on the longest closing arguments I've seen. They may have been the worst. They weren't great. They weren't great. The Commonwealth was just too loud. Like he was yelling at you the entire time. And it was like, sir, thank you for getting our attention, but I'm going to need you to just bring it down a notch. Okay. Bring it down. I think Brooks' attorney sometimes he'd get a little like, oof, and you're like, yeah, a little passion, the passion. But God, he was up there for freaking ever. It was so bad. And then Joseph Lawson's attorney, he didn't start off strong, but by the middle of his thing, I thought he did a really good job with what he had, which was not a whole lot. So I will give his lawyer credit for that. But that is over. So what are we going to do today, Llama? Thank you. I'm so glad you asked. So first up on our docket is I have an interview with Joseph Lawson's attorneys. It's like 33 minutes, which is very long for an interview. They're with, who did this interview? I think it was, WHAS 11. Got this interview with both of them. So we're going to watch that. And then after that, many people have been talking about Brooks Houck's jail phone calls. So we're going to listen to all of those. I have not watched any of this. So I don't even know if there's good bits in there. I don't know. People are just like, yeah, let's do that. And I was like, all right, this sounds fine. We will do that. Lady in Gray says, yeah, she thought Joseph's attorney did the best yesterday. And that is insane. No, it's not. No, it's not. Now, then after we're done with this, we're going to hop on over to a different stream and we're going to start the trial of Stephen Lawson. And I'm doing 2 streams, so that way future viewers, hello from the past to the future. That way it just kind of helps them watch later on, it's not all together and whatever. So we will watch start Stephen Lawson's trial today. It's the day 1. This is not a long trial. Okay. It's a whole 4 days, and each day is like 3 to 4 hours. So today I think we'll watch opening statements. Well, first we get to hear his lawyers, and his lawyers, I did watch a little bit, and they seem like they got some energy. So I'm very interested to see their lawyering against prosecutor Shane Young, special prosecutor Shane Young. And I've heard that there are tensions in that trial. That at some point a bailiff becomes involved. So we'll be doing that today. And then tomorrow, you guys, I'm actually going to take the day off tomorrow. I'll be honest with you all. The reason why is because of Big Brother. It's because of Big Brother. I don't know who's going to win head of household tonight, but whoever it is, it doesn't even matter. It's going to be spicy tomorrow. And honestly, I just need a break. It's been a very long week for me. So, but next week, we'll be back to do the rest of Steve Lawson's trial, Monday through Wednesday. And then Thursday, I have a surprise for members only. I'll be streaming a little bit Thursday for our members. I'm going to be recording a show, a mini series that I've been working on the last couple of weeks. That isn't going to even come out until December. It's a very serious, my attempt at serious storytelling. Normally I'm all like, smiling and making jokes, but I want to try something, really, really serious. And it's another pet case of mine. So I'm recording it next week, well, part of it. And then I'll spend the next, several months working on putting together those videos and whatnot. And they'll come out in December. But members, you get a good sneak peek well before then. So that'll be next week. Let's see what else. I had another announcement for you guys, and I forget what it was. Oh, it was that we have a show tonight at 8 p.m., which I already said, but I'll say it again. Tonight here, 8 p.m., me and the lovely lady in gray covering the part 2, John List Nightmare. So I'm very excited about that. P. Lola's mom, good morning. So happy to see you back. Love that. Glad your boss has stepped out so you can hang out with us again. Motion to scream. Hello and welcome. Good morning to you, babes. Oh, P. Lola's mom says, I better figure out how to do a membership. I've tried and tried and tried and nothing. That's right. Because you are an iPhone person, right? iPhone, they do this weird thing, and I don't understand why. But from what I know, what I've been told is that if you're trying to become a member on an iDevice, you have to not go through the YouTube app. You have to go to the browser, Safari or Google or something. I don't know. I don't have one of these things. So I apologize for not being, super specific. But I know you have to open up a browser and get to YouTube that way. And then you go to the channel and that's where the join button is, I guess. I don't know why they do it. It's like a pain and really stupid. Something about the Apple Store and cuts or something. I don't know. Money. We all know that's the answer. Something to do with money. But yes, that's what I will be doing. Oh, here she goes. Here's Lady in Gray. Maybe she might help. iPhone people need to go to YouTube through the internet browser, not the app. It's stupid. Android for the win. Me too, girl. Me too. People as well. She did that and nothing says join. Well, I don't know. You're on our Discord, right, Pilola's mom? Maybe I can meet with you over the weekend in like a voice chat or something. And maybe we can try to work it out together if you're free or whatever. Just hit me up on Discord. I think you're on there. So we will try to do. You have all weekend to figure it out. Yeah, we'll get you. We'll get you, girl. Don't you worry. We always try our best. Anyway, guys, so let's do should probably make a banner real quick. What are we doing today? We are doing you know what? I don't know if we need a banner today, do we? We'll just do a please like and subscribe one for now. Zoe, can you stop? Rude. She's like all bumping herself around the couch. It's weird when she does that. It's very, very weird. It's uncomfortable. Okay, Zoe, stop it. Can you hear that? Oh, it's weird. Okay. You're embarrassing me in front of my friends, Zoe. Stop it. Hey. Yes, you right here. Yes, you come here. I'll pet you real quick, okay? That's how she likes to scratch her butt. Because she's an old girl. So she can't quite reach the same places. So she reminds me of like Baloo in the Jungle Book, just rubbing his back against the tree. That's what she does. Oh, Princess Zoe. Yes, no, she is a princess. Queen, really. All right, so let's see what Joseph Lawson's attorneys have to say about the trial. They did not talk very much. They didn't question a whole lot, and I don't blame them, right? Because so Brooks and Joseph had a defense agreement, I guess, where Brooks' lawyers shared stuff with his lawyers, and Brooks' lawyers kind of did all the case, which is makes sense, right? Because Brooks has the money and for those resources, and Joseph's attorneys were like, yeah, how about we get in on that too? That would be great. So they didn't really do a lot during the trial. So I'm curious of what they have to say. And I think that tactic that they used was smart. They did try to get the cases severed, but the judge was like, no, some reason Steve's got to be severed. And I know I said why, but I can't remember. It's still too early in the morning. So let's listen to them. Let me turn on closed caption. Did it turn on? Maybe. Let's see.
So there's a lot of ground I want to cover here. Of course, I want to talk about your experience with the trial, but also a new motion that you filed. But let's start with just take me back into the courtroom. The day that Judge Charles Sims read the verdict, what was going through your head?
The verdict came back really quickly. Both Kevin and I have been on this case for a little over 2 years, somewhere around there. And we still have not solved the case in any way. So it was very troubling for me when I found that the jury had come back in 5 hours and already rendered a verdict. So I was, while I was optimistic leading into the verdict coming back, I was very shocked when the verdict was actually read. It was not what we were expecting from our team at all.
Why?
I believe that the evidence against Joey was very flimsy. There was not a ton of substance there. There were a few one-off comments that he had made to people over the years, most with horrible credibility issues, almost all with drug issues themselves.
Gonna be on TV. So
the fact that the cell phone evidence was in my mind clear that Joey Lawson or Steve Lawson's phone was traveling down Boston Road with the contemporaneous story of the other car, the Chrysler 300 that they were searching for. I really believe that we had proved by preponderance of the evidence that in fact Joey could not have committed the crime. And ultimately the jury disagreed with us and we respect that.
But to be clear too, that in a criminal defense or in a criminal case, the defendant doesn't have any burden at all, right? So what I think Mr. Boyd's talking about there is, that we proved anything at all should have been enough for what is reasonable doubt. And I think when we handed that case off to the jury, and I think all of our heads, there was absolutely doubt, and those doubts were reasonable. and because of that, that verdict is still shocking.
You both were sitting next to Joey when the verdict came down. What was his reaction, and what were some of the first words exchanged?
Well, I was actually sitting right next to Joey when the verdict was read. Of course, we allowed the jury to exit before we had any communications with one another, and I just looked down at Joey and told him I was sorry. And he was very reserved, and he looked at me and he said, "Brother, you can't control what those 12 people just did there." So he was very, very reserved, very appropriate, and honestly, he took it better than I had expected, because again, I don't believe any of us were expecting them to come back with that verdict.
What was it like to work with him as a client?
Yes, I have two. The other one
To
doesn't.
be honest with you, he was
like being picked up.
probably one of the best clients that I've ever had to work with. He was respectful, he was polite, he was courteous, and he was also helpful. He was an integral part of his defense team. And with a case that's this complex, when you have so many 10 years of evidence that you have to go through and countless people that you have to sort and figure out what their role is in the case, Joey played a great role in connecting those dots for us, because he had lived this and he was familiar with the case much more than we were out of the gate.
Mr. Coleman, I believe it was in your opening statements, you used the phrase collateral damage.
Mm-hmm.
Can you explain that?
Yeah, so I think what we saw throughout trial is KSB in particular, but the government overall, because the Commonwealth Attorney's Office was involved with the investigation very heavily. But you saw what they were willing to do in order to get their ultimate prize, which was a conviction for Brooks Houck.
I agree.
And Joey was an example of that, as far as that's the phrase, right? Is that he was collateral damage to what was ultimately their main purpose, which was to convict Brooks Houck.
And that being one of the leading factors into this motion that was filed for a retrial or to drop the verdict. Explain to me that motion and what some of the points in that motion are you're arguing.
This was I guess we're piggybacking off a motion that was filed probably at the outset of the case when we were arguing severance. There was just a gross disparity of evidence between Mr. Houck and Mr. Lawson that was brought out during this trial. I believe I'd said in my closing that it was 3 days into trial before we'd even heard Mr. Joey Lawson's name mentioned. So that was something that was very difficult to overcome, sitting there day after day for 2.5 weeks with all this evidence coming in against Mr. Houck. And relatively little coming in against Mr. Lawson, Joey Lawson. So I do believe that had a spillover effect and definitely prejudiced Joey in getting a fair and impartial trial. We also believe there are some issues with the jury instructions. It was unclear whether or not in the tampering and the conspiracy charge, there was an issue with moving the car and or the body. So not to go too into the weeds with the legalistics of that, but it's a unanimity issue as far as whether or not that conviction will be upheld on appeal.
Basically, so they put an and or in there. So as a factual determination, we still don't know whether or not that jury said that they believed that Joey moved the car, and that's the basis of the convictions, because that was the basis of conviction for both counts.
They picked a nicer area to do this.
Move the body. And
that building.
Every person who's ever
jail?
put on trial for a criminal trial, they're entitled to a unanimous verdict, and that is a factual issue that's going to be at issue, right? So
Terry, look, girl, I wore this for you today.
Other 6 people could have said body.
Must have felt the pink energy.
And had those actually been properly separated as different charges, then you potentially could have been acquitted because or at least a hung jury on those counts. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. Additionally, we had the elephant in the room of Steve Lawson. I believe that his name was said so many times throughout the trial, it was perhaps confusing for the jury at times to distinguish which Lawson was being spoken of.
That's fair.
So, you know, I don't think anybody understood the media spectacle that was going to unfold from the Steve Lawson trial. I certainly didn't expect it, and I think that had an impact on the jury pool and tainted the jury pool that was actually seated in the trial for Joey Lawson and Brooks Houck.
In that vein, how do you suppose Joey could have ever gone a fair trial if Steve stuck with all of the jury pool?
Honestly, I believe we should have moved to a separate media market outside of that. And that was something that we didn't raise pre-trial. I believe that we all operated in good faith thinking that this was a fair strategy.
I think so.
So I don't blame the court or any other actors involved in that.
I don't know why they
but I do think that this being a unique case, this was a situation that was unforeseen to really anybody that was involved in the planning of it.
So in the case of a retrial, you would want to go elsewhere in Kentucky?
Certainly.
I think you do raise a good question, which is more, you know, at a kind of a zoomed out level, is when you have a case that has that much pre-trial publicity, especially in this day and age with internet and you know, cell phones and things like that, you know, is there anywhere in the state of Kentucky that you can really go to avoid you know, that kind of pretrial publicity? And it's difficult to answer whether or not you could go somewhere else and get a fairer trial.
You two spoke minimally during the trial. Was there a lack of an argument from the defense for Joseph Lawson?
To be honest with you, again, going back to the disparity of evidence between the two parties, most of the witnesses that went up there had nothing to say against Joey. They didn't know Joey. They had no evidence regarding him. So there was simply no point in asking any questions.
They're on metal chairs.
I will give credit to Mr. Houck's legal team. He has some great lawyers, and because of the order that we went in, his team would cross-examine first, and then we would cross-examine second after them.
Cheers, girl.
Just for sake of time, if all of the issues had been covered in their cross, we opted to not just get up and repeat ourselves and waste the jury's time and just keep the trial moving forward.
Mr. Boyd, you said a quote. You said Steve's name was mentioned significantly more than Joey's. What testimony or what evidence do you think stuck with the jurors to find Joey guilty?
Honestly, I believe it was the testimony of Charlie Girdley, who I found to be one of the most uncredible witnesses I've ever seen brought before the court. He had 6 to 8 different stories before he landed on the one that he finally came in and told the court. He's been all over the place. He'd been up high on meth for 5 or 6 days when he made that statement.
She has been.
You know, and when the jury requested to view something from the evidence, it was his direct testimony. So while I'm shocked and surprised that they did, I believe that they believed his testimony to be true. And Charlie was the one link that could link Joey to Brooks, and the state Commonwealth needed somebody to provide a physical link between Brooks and her car and what happened that evening.
Why would a jury believe Charlie Girdley and not with the both of you?
I have no idea. I don't understand. I have rarely seen a witness so thoroughly impeached and have a jury give their testimony any credibility.
Yeah, and on top of that, there's the corroboration of actual physical evidence. They convicted based off of witness testimony and the fallibility of human memory. And Charlie Girdley's was the memory that they were relying on. I think that question can only be answered by that jury. And it showed that they did believe him, and they saw his testimony as valuable, because the one thing they requested to review was his testimony.
That is true.
That was the only thing that they wanted to re-review, and that's when we came back in and we sat there and watched Charlie Gurley's testimony. And yeah, I mean, it was incredible. Whenever you're joined, you end up, whenever you're joined with another defendant, there is risk of loss of control over the narrative and over the defense, right? And obviously they had a lot more to address than us. So there was a certain amount of that went on.
So if you could control the narrative more, what would you have said in the courtroom?
That the case, so in order to prove beyond reasonable doubt, we don't just rely on what people said. We go to other things to verify what they said. And when they did that here, they did not find those things. And in fact, they were exonerating for Joey. And those are reasonable doubts, right? That's the reason why it's the highest standard that there is. And to some extent, I feel like we still got that narrative across. Because mind you, what Brian Butler and Steve Shoring did in there was in line with what we were saying about Joey as well. So whether it was us speaking or the same kind of messages that were being sent by them, they would have been consistent to some extent. I think I was kind of more talking in the vein of when we did get up there, it was not after having kind of gone through all the motions and stuff like that to get into a flow.
I'm not sure how we could have combated this better, but I was frustrated that the jury seemingly dismissed the cell phone data.
Mm-hmm.
I think that if Ms. Rogers' car had been found at 7645 Boston Road, Mr. Lawson should be going to prison, but it was found at mile marker 14 on the Bluegrass, and all the cell phone data evidence supports that he was traveling down Boston Road at that time, not the Bluegrass Parkway, and wasn't traveling down the Bluegrass Parkway at any time during that leading up to or after that time period.
I mean,
well, hours were spent going through that cell phone data. Very
not having any of
precise
Joey's, I think,
graphs
hurt,
that the
even though
jury
that's
was
not their fault.
shown for hours. Technological lingo that was tough to understand at times. Why do you think the Boston Road argument didn't stick with the jury?
Again, I'm not sure. It was very clear that Mr. Steve Lawson was trying to contact Capital One to see if it had been repossessed. He then starts looking up the Heather Snellen's boyfriend to determine where he lived, and that's when he found the Boston Road address. It was contemporaneous with the timeline of Miss Snellen stealing his car that night. It was within about an hour of that happening or occurring that he realized that. And the cell phone data clearly showing from even the government's report that they were pinging to the north of the towers consistent with travel down Boston Road. I really am not certain what else could have been done to present that to that jury in a more effective way.
I want to bring up a transcript from some documents that were unsealed just a few days ago from the Nelson County Circuit Court. This is a transcription of a 2023 grand jury recording. Speaking is a female juror in Steve Lawson. The female juror says, "So did you think your son had something to do? I mean, since you moved the seat and stuff, did you think that your son was involved?" Steve Lawson says, "Well, I mean, he plain and simple, we was involved in moving the car." The female juror says, "Okay, that's ... Steve Lawson says, "That's automatically, that's a crime, you know? It's that simple. We've both done implicated ourselves into a crime, so now we're both pretty much hemmed up." The male juror says, "But you didn't know it was a crime because you didn't know Crystal was gone." Steve says, "Exactly." Mm-hmm. Your thoughts on this? Of course, this was not admissible into either trial, neither Steve Lawson or
I didn't know jurors
the
asked
Houck Joey Lawson
questions in
trial.
grand jury.
So first I'll talk about, this is a great example of just the fallibility of human beings and testimony, by itself. And then we'll talk about Steve Lawson specifically. But First, Steve Lawson, like a lot of other witnesses that testified in this case, you have to look at the full context, not just this one statement, right? So Steve Lawson also had the context of being promised immunity, right? And that all came out in pretrial litigation. So in other words, he was being given an offer of dismissal in exchange for what they wanted to be, what they claimed to be the truth. Right?
It was sealed.
The truth, I think, in this
evidence, I
situation was
guess.
going to be in the eye of the beholder, and it didn't match up with their version of the truth, meaning the government. And then that's why that deal fell through. But what Steve Lawson was doing here is that he was changing his story once again, because his first story, and there's a series of stories that he has, but his first story that was the most contemporaneous of 2015, he denies any involvement in anything. Okay. And then after being interviewed a number of times coercively and given promises of leniency and things like that, that's when we get these tales. Steve, I think, is still convinced that he should have gotten that immunity, and I think that's why he is stuck to that story, this one.
Steve's statements are the product of some of the most extensive interviewing of anybody in this case, and countless people were held and interviewed for multiple hours at a time. I would be surprised. I would say Steve Lawson was probably interviewed upwards of 20 to 30 hours over multiple different days and times. Oftentimes he had a warrant that he knew was out for his arrest while he was making these statements. And if he said if he said something that was consistent with what the detectives were searching for, they would allow him to stay out that night and come back and continue the interrogation another day. So it really is the story that Charlie Girdley gave that he ended up with. Steve Lawson was a very similar product of that interrogation process, where multiple stories were created over multiple interrogations. And when you get to something like this, that's the end. That's what's stuck at the end for the investigation, not necessarily the truth, in my opinion.
Yeah, the difference between Steve Lawson and Charlie Girdley is that Steve Lawson was charged. Charlie Girdley was a suspect as well, and I'm sure that if he hadn't said what they wanted him to say, then he would have been charged as well. Charlie Girdley would.
So you're sticking to your guns that is not the truth because of police coercion?
I don't believe, and I hate to sound naive, but the cell phone evidence is indisputable. And this simply could not have happened. I've never been a believer in false confessions or anything of that sort. It makes me sound like makes me feel like I'm talking crazy.
Attorney.
But I do not believe this to be true.
It's pretty damning.
It is.
Yeah, if he had taken the stand, it wouldn't just have been that statement. You would have had a series of inconsistencies. The court even made a finding at some point that he was wildly inconsistent. And Steve Lawson, I think, is not above, making sure that he makes statements that are going to save his own butt.
Sentencing is coming up just next month. Do you think the judge will take the recommendation?
Yeah. Yes. You can say it.
I think in my experience, more often than not, a judge is going to go along with the recommendation. I mean, whether or not he can't go up,
Her
he can't
civil
go any higher.
Civil case.
But we'll certainly ask him to reduce it. But that ultimately will be up to him.
I don't know what civil case,
frankly,
though. Is it for the O'Keefe's, or is she
that. I'm like, do I want to say that publicly?
filing a civil case?
At this point, we're presuming that the judge will issue and sentence Mr. Lawson to 25 years in prison. At that point, the Department of Public Advocacy Appellate Division will take over, and they will proceed with his appellate issues.
One of the things that bothered me, at least through the whole thing from beginning to end, was that everything was so tight-lipped, and it was for good reason. It was trying to preserve the ability to have a fair trial. But that lack of transparency, the lack of free flow of information, I think leads to a lot of people speculating and jumping to conclusions when they haven't, actually seen
Melanie
the evidence
Little?
or seen the big picture.
Like
And,
YouTuber Melanie
and
Little
there's been a lot of
is
that.
joining her
And
civil
it's not even
case?
just since Joey was indicted. That's been happening for
Okay.
10 years, where people have, I think it's our natural inclination as human beings just to try to connect dots with things. And
It's against the wrongful
I couldn't
death
tell you how many
lawsuit.
people have approached me to say that they have solved everything, internet sleuths and stuff like that.
Up till now, we've had no ability to control the narrative in any regard.
Miss Little.
So,
Okay.
Post-trial,
Just like,
since
okay.
we've already moved through that, at this time we appreciate the media, people like yourself, just sitting down so that we can tell Joey's side of the story
Not YouTuber
to a
Melanie
broader
Little,
audience
lawyer.
that
No.
was outside of the courthouse.
Well, and also I think what transpired as far as those interviews, I think is still is a policy issue that is concerning. How law enforcement goes about investigating cases and securing convictions. We all have rights that are there and designed to make sure that the ends don't justify the means, and it was quite the opposite for them.
Agreed.
The ends did justify the means, and they did a lot of terrible things to witnesses, to my client, to Steve Lawson, in order to get to the spot where they could get a guilty verdict for Brooks Houck.
I agree, sir.
There's one moment from the courtroom that stood out to me. Mr. Boyd, you, during closing arguments, you said, that sophisticated businessman would not hire those two fools to do it.
He did say that. He did throw Joey under the bus a lot.
Walk me through why
It's true.
going at the Lawson's character was a part of your argument.
It was true. It was realistic. Mr. Lawson, Joey Lawson, was severely addicted to methamphetamines at that time. He was using alcohol in excess. He was, personally, he was in a very bad spot in his life. He was not responsible enough to even complete construction tasks for Mr. Houck, much less taking part in such an integral part of this alleged crime. I just don't believe that Mr. Houck would trust him to do anything of this sort.
And I would add to that, as far as you've got, if we're to believe that they did what this jury thought that they did, then that means that they would have been, criminal masterminds that were capable of cleaning multiple crime scenes and leave no trace of any sort of physical, forensic, DNA, trace evidence at multiple places. That you're basically saying that these two guys evaded the investigation of the full might of the federal government, FBI, IRS, KSP for the state government. All these resources, they somehow evaded any sort of detection. That would require them to have a level of knowledge about things that people, even if you're an attorney or if you're a police officer, that you don't know, you may well know, but to actually be able to accomplish that feat would be incredible in and of itself.
If you go back to that night, it was a rainy, hot, humid summer night. If you believe the government's narrative in this, Joey Lawson had to operate that car at least twice, if not more. And in the process of doing so, while he's high on drugs, likely drunk as well,
and driving it all over
this humid, rainy environment, that he doesn't leave any DNA on anything anywhere in the car on these multiple times that he operated it. And the most troubling part of this of the vehicle to myself is the phone that actually has the fingerprint on it that doesn't match anybody involved in this case.
Agreed.
And that seems to be the most important fingerprint that has not been, we don't know whose it is.
And the palm
that is
print
likely
on the
last person that operated
mirror.
Crystal Rogers' car and placed her phone in the seat.
Behind closed doors, has Joseph Lawson looked at you and said, "I'm not a part of the killing"?
Certainly. He has been adamant since day one that he was never in Crystal Rotter's car and he had nothing to do with it. And in fact, when Mr. Young wanted a couple of the hairs tested that had not been tested, there was an issue a few months ago about that.
We covered that.
We actually agreed to have those hairs tested. And I told Joey, I said, if you were anywhere near that car, we don't have to allow them to test this. And he very quickly responded and said, I was never near that car. I never touched that car. Test them.
Sorry. And a copy of that order, it's in the court file. I don't know if it was sealed initially or not, but yeah, there's an agreed order for us to have those things tested, but they never were. So.
From an attorney's point of view, you never want to give the Commonwealth more evidence to convict your client.
Sure.
So for him to be so full-throated in his desire to proceed with the testing, I think that spoke volumes to me.
Mm-hmm.
That was telling to you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And that goes with the typical attorney warnings of, you don't want to do this unless, you've got to be 110% sure this is not going to come back in the wrong way. And he, without hesitation, agreed to it. I think they even went and did what's called buccal swabs. So they have his DNA sample. They just never did it.
He even agreed to provide his DNA sample as a part of that.
Mm-hmm. Which normally you would have to have a search warrant for or a court order of some sort. But we agreed to that part of their investigation. So.
Have you spoke to him since he's been in jail?
I think so too.
Can you give us a look into those conversations?
Really, at this point, he's taken the verdict as best as he can. Certainly, he's not pleased with it, but he's reacted appropriately. And we've had conversations consistent with the attorney-client relationship we've had the entire time. And we've just discussed what moving forward, the appellate options, and what our next moves are.
Have you found that he holds resentment towards anything?
Again, Joey has been one of the most wonderful clients to work with, and I know that's hard for a lot of people to hear. They might not understand that, but no, he has not shown any level of resentment. I mean, he's not happy about the process. Obviously, he's not happy about it, but he has not acted out in any way that I'm aware of.
I think for Joey Lawson, his lot in life, the cards that he was dealt in life, actually have made him. I think it's made it difficult for him to actually have much faith in institutions, right? So I don't think that. I think some of his reaction was a lack of surprise, only because that it was consistent with what has happened, with these institutions in the past. So, this is somebody who has, obviously he's had an accident. He's in a wheelchair, but it's not just that. It goes much further. He was, born into, a wonderful father that was Steve Lawson. And, this, you kind of saw, I think, parts of Bardstown and Nelson County that not everybody usually sees, right? And these are people that have had adversity, and they've been beaten down a lot. So it's not very shocking when something doesn't go their way.
I've asked our legal analyst, Nick Mudd, if there's any potential for a plea deal if Joseph Lawson were to if Joseph Lawson were to come forward with any information he has, if he would be able to get a couple years knocked off his sentence when the judge does make a determination on that. Is there any world in which a scenario like that could play out?
No.
He doesn't.
To be honest with you, I think if Joey Lawson could have done that, he would have done that. He simply can't.
Yeah. There's no information to be given. And so kind of you saw how it played out with Steve Lawson. There is a truth that they are seeking, and there's knowledge that they are seeking, the Commonwealth and the government, and Steve Lawson was given every incentive in the world, to do it. In fact, he was given a blank check. He was given the offer his case to be dismissed, right? And he tried cooperating with them, and told them what he thought that they wanted to hear, and he still was charged, and he was still convicted, and he's looking at now a jury recommendation of 17 years, right? So
That's exactly what he got.
No, there's no information to get as far as what could help. He just doesn't have it. They're looking for something that's not there.
It's hard to make up the truth when you don't know the truth.
Well, okay, that was a very interesting. That was a very interesting interview with his lawyers there. Very insightful. Because again, his lawyers didn't really do a lot in the trial, as they said. They didn't really need to, or didn't have anything really to. So I found that to be very interesting. And those lawyers do seem a little shook. Like, I will say, the one saying, "Oh, I didn't believe in coercive confession." Sir, you are a defense attorney. Did you think they were mythological or something? Like, what? Okay, so I have these in no particular order. It was just on the list. We're going to switch now to Brooks Houck's jail calls. The first one we have on the list is a jail call. Oh, this, second, please. Stop, pause. Thank you. This one is actually a phone call to his brother, Nick Houck, mid-trial. So this is before the verdict. All the rest are after verdict. So this is the only one that's out while the trial is going on. So let's switch over to this. Share that instead. It does not have closed caption, guys. I'm sorry. So you might need to turn it up. I don't know. Haven't heard it yet. So let's see.
How you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Well, your voice sounds pretty good. Everything must be going.
Yeah, it's been a roller coaster ride. There's been highs and lows, and it's not a good situation for anybody, for any side. It's not good. It's a very sad situation, but I think everybody's doing their best to make the most of it and try to remain as positive and good attitude as possible.
Yeah.
So
I'm sure it's not easy sitting up there in that hot seat in front of everybody.
Oh my goodness. I'm telling you, hey, listen, most people in their lifetime will never experience what I've been through in this process. I'm sure there's other people that have been there, no doubt about it. I'm not a pioneer in it, but I'm telling you, if you go through what my whole family's went through with it, all of you all went through a lot of stress and pressure just right alongside of me, but it will change who you are, your views of life, and it will completely realign every one of your priorities to where you'll even weed out good things in your life to only leave time for the very best. It'll show you a lot of stuff and actions you go through in life that you think might have been important, just really don't rank that high anymore,
Yeah, I'm sure that has happened.
It's a very humbling experience. It's sad. It is sad for so many people. There are no winners, There are.
Yeah. Hey, what about down there at the jail? Do you feel pretty safe down there, or are you around a lot of other people, or?
Yeah, I'm around a lot of people, but that's not my problem here.
I'm just saying, with them putting all that stuff on the news. Obviously those guys down at the jail probably seeing all that stuff. Are you?
Yeah, everybody has it. That's not my. And you understand, I've been incarcerated for almost 2 years now. You kind of learn and adapt to do things in your new surroundings. But no, that's not my issue. My biggest issue is still the same that it's always been, being torn away from my problem.
Yeah.
It's not.
Well, I'm
You know,
sure.
I can deal with the food. I can deal with the discipline in here. You know, I don't have any problems with any of my authoritative figures. You know, I've never had a problem with being obedient to whatever situation that I'm put in. You know, none of that. I'm very compliant. You understand what I'm saying? I don't have none of those
Yeah.
issues are my problem. And you know, I can eat a lot of stuff that make most people puke. You know what I mean? That's not my.
Yeah.
Weird, but
food.
okay.
You know, I mean, obviously, I'd rather have better food. But what they, you know, that's not my issue. My issue is I love to eat beyond anyone can imagine, and
Yeah.
they just stripped me away from him, and they stripped him away from me. You know, it kind of cuts both ways. You know, he's the biggest casualty here, and you know, I'm doing everything I can to get back to him. You know, I'm hopeful and optimistic that you know, the jury can sort through all this stuff and, you know, figure it out. But I mean, there's no doubt about it. Mr. Young, he's done, you know, even though it's incorrect, he's an amazing lawyer. He's a storyteller. You understand what I'm saying?
Well,
That is true.
yeah. So is the jury? Was it going to go on for Monday and Tuesday, and then they're going to deliberate, or like?
No, I think Monday it should be wrapped up as far as the closing on both sides, and then on Tuesday morning, that I think the way I understand it is the judge is going to give the jurors instructions or whatever to do, and then that's when he's going to send them back there to figure everything out themselves. So, you know, that could take a little while, or that could take a really long time. So I'm not really
Yeah.
which it'll do. So, but at the end of Monday, the lawyers' parts will be done as far as doing the case or whatever.
I see. No.
I know it's been, you know, they banned my whole family from, you know, from being in there. You know what I mean? So.
Yeah.
I know they banned
It's not about us, you know.
Eli.
I mean, we got to do what's best for you, but it is what it is, you know. I mean,
didn't
it's
know
kind
about
of
the others.
kind of a minor part of it, you know, when you look at everything together.
Big picture, yeah, the big picture.
Yeah.
I agree.
Maybe they were put on a
You know,
witness
just,
list.
You know, which I'm certainly hopeful and optimistic. You know, I'm, of course, been humbled through this whole process, going through all this, but you know, I get on the phone and he constantly, you know, brings up, you know.
This call will be recorded.
You still there?
Yeah, I am. So he just constantly, you know, brings everything up, you know, doing things. You know, his memory's so good about all the stuff and activities we've done in the past, and he's looking forward to seeing me, you know.
No, I'm sure he is. Yeah.
Yes. So just try to. I know you've done a great job helping Rhonda and Alex. Just keep helping them with him, and just try to provide him as much peace and comfort and, you know, fun activities and stuff as you all can. Just try to keep him, you know, focused. And
I feel like I've done 4 or 5%, and they've done 95%.
You're just modest in saying that. I see all the activity. Rhonda takes a picture of all the stuff that you all do, and she lets me. She's good at keeping me informed on what he's doing, rather than, you know, when it was in sports and school and after school activities, or, you know, the stuff that, you know, going to the movies and riding there on the farm and swimming and just everything from Alex drilling and, you know, them doing them mounts from hunting back there in the woods on everything we've all done. You know, Rhonda's done a great job at keeping me, you know, informed. She's taking pictures just to try to keep me in the loop with all that. You know, he so much, you know, evidently he's just one size boots right behind me. And, you know, when I was taken, and he's still a little boy to me.
That's
but when
right,
he was taken,
so,
he was only
and
10, he was
in
little.
all caps.
And, you know, he's grown so much, and that he's at that age that he hits growth spurts pretty fast, you know. And I can just see him over the screen and overseeing him on the computer. You know, his physical appearance has really changed. And to me, it's just I miss so much that I can't get back. You understand what I'm saying? I struggle with that, and but it is what it is. You know, the only thing we do is see where we're at from this day forward, and just do our best just to keep going forward. So, you know, that's where we're at.
Well, It was good to talk to you, and sounds like everything's going pretty good. So, we're all praying.
Yeah, keep doing that. I mean, I'm hoping, optimistic. I mean, the truth is, I'm a realist too. Anything could happen, but I'm very hopeful, optimistic. I'm positive about everything. That's the only way you can survive in here.
I bet.
I feel like the jury can sort through it. I feel like they can do it.
Yeah, I know they can.
So, yeah, it was very good talking to you. I know it's been a good while since I talked to you, not having those Sunday visits and everything, but it's we'll be all right.
All right, I'll talk to you later.
All right, bye.
All right. So that was with
Brooke.
Nick. Hold on. That's not that one will come back later, I think. Because next on the list here is phone call with his mom. There's 2 phone calls with his mom. This is after the verdict. Oh, I need to flip over there. There we go. Good job, Llama. All right. So let's see what he has to say to his mom. This is, again, everything now is after the verdict.
This call is not private. It will be recorded and may be monitored. If you believe this should be a private call, please hang up and follow facility instructions to register this number as a private number. To consent to this recorded call, press 1. To disconnect, press 2. Thank you for using Securus. You may start the conversation now.
Hey, Brooke.
Hey, I'm back. I was just going to tell you, hey, talk to Terry and see if he's got some investors that want to buy some stuff, and and if he does, we can try to put some groups of stuff together. But what I was going to say is, hey, there's a person. His name's Sean Hill, and he's got the ability to buy several things. And if somebody's going to get a good deal, I would prefer for it to be him. And really, what you ought to do is don't run that through Terry. Crystal knows how to get a hold of him. We can deal with him without a realtor, and kind of go from there first and foremost. Okay.
Okay. All right.
And Crystal will know what to do there. And then,
by the way, if you don't know, Crystal is his girlfriend after other Crystal.
Okay.
It's a whole thing.
And then I was going to have Alex, all the stuff down there at the barn, that equipment, dump trucks and those trailers and that backhoe and that SkyTrack. Alex can look all that stuff up on YouTube or on things. He knows how to run the SkyTrack anyways, but he can look that stuff up, see what that stuff's worth. And I'd like to go ahead and sell that. And I want to put that money in an account for Eli, for Rhonda and Alex to use for whatever Eli needs. Okay.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So that, I don't want him to be any financial strain on him.
Yes. If it's in a trust for him, that's different, isn't it?
Well, I mean, there's a trust fund already set up for him. That farm's, nothing's owed on that. I don't know if that'll be protected in the civil suit, but, in the next year or something going through the court system, they're going to take everything that I've got. You know that, don't you?
Yes, but don't you have an insurance policy on house rentals?
Yeah, I mean, I've got insurance on all that, and I don't, we'll just see how that right there turns out, but I don't know how they'll establish an amount, or I don't know how that'll be done, but, that's coming, so which doesn't amount a whole lot to me right now. I want to be sure that Eli's got what, my stuff should go to Eli, but I don't want Ron and Alex to be saddled with the financial difficulty and strain of that.
Yeah. I understand what you're saying. Yeah. Are you going to Oda?
We'll talk about that in a minute. This house that's selling, I want to get everything squared back up that I owe for you. But if Eli needs something, I want you to help me.
I will. You don't have to worry about that. Yeah. all of us will do anything in the world for Eli. And you know that. We'll be here for him. Ooh, it looks like it's going to come up a bad storm.
So I keep trying to touch base with Crystal. I don't know. Listen, this stress and pressure, this is still kind of in denial on everybody, but the grief, the pain, anger, and frustration is going to be on the way. Try to help Crystal as much as you can. She knows. I think she said a while ago she'll still try to keep up with the rentals and that kind of thing. For right now, I don't know how long. Just being realistic, I don't know how long that'll last. But right now, I would like to get Springfield State Bank. I would like to get them paid off. If we could, and I know that won't happen real fast, but even if I took a loss on several properties, there's still an equity position there to get them. Robbie Poland has been good to me over the years, and I need to pay them their money. So I would tomorrow. I think that you should make a personal phone call to Robbie and let him know that you spoke to me and that we're going to make a plan to get them paid off, so that he knows that is a priority. Even though I'm in here, that's certainly a priority of mine. Okay.
I will. I certainly will.
There's nothing I can do for Eli. I don't. My relationship with him has already been altered, and he speaks in past tense stuff all the time, where how things used to be, and it's so hurtful to.
Yeah.
And I'm just, Rhonda's wonderful with him, so I don't know of anything I can do to try to bridge that.
Yeah. Let me tell you something. We probably don't. I don't know how to tell you this. With Crystal.
Yeah.
I'm not sure how to handle that.
Handle what? Just spit it out. Spit it out. Tell me. You got me curious.
Well, Eli tries to call her and get with her, and she doesn't answer his phone calls, and it's been like that for about at least a month.
All right. Well, and that's, she's really been struggling. I'll talk to her about that, and I'll address that. Okay.
Okay.
I'll address that and take care of it. Okay.
Okay, because it's best probably right now for Eli not to spend the night with anybody else.
I agree. Yes, I agree. But they can still talk on the phone at nighttime and touch base, and she can still come out there to Rhonda's house.
Yes, but he tries to call her every night.
He what now? Oh, all right. Well, let me touch base. Well, she's tore up right now. It's stressful. Let me touch base with her on that, and I'll address that. They got me in a turtle suit in here in the observation unit. I've never had any kind of issue, but the psychiatric nurse and mental health people are all over me right now, which I understand. Somebody gets sentenced or gets told what I got told today. People have a mental breakdown.
Yeah.
So I understand that, and I get it, but I'm hoping that I can get back. I'm do best with being social, being with other people, and having a TV on the wall, and just being able to watch a movie here or there, play a game of cards, or just talking with people. Your day passes, and it's close to a normal structure as you can get being in a dorm. I might have been in a max dorm back there, but there was 6 guys back there. Now I'm in a room by myself with nothing in here. You see what I'm saying? So they let me get up here to the phone. But that's something, if I don't ever call you all or you all aren't hearing from me, it's not because I don't want to talk to you. It's because I don't have access to a phone. Okay?
Okay.
Hey,
okay.
I want you every day. I want you to call Eli.
I will. I will. You know, he answers my phone calls and I call him.
Yeah, touch
So
base
I
with
will-
him and just check on him and
I
just
will.
try to give him a normal childhood for a little boy. You know, he deserves the very best.
Yes, and you know that Rhonda and Alex are going to do the same for him as they are their own children. So that's
I
one
know.
thing you know.
I know.
But should I go ahead and contact that guy in the morning
What
after
guy
I
are you-
talk to
What car are you talking?
at Wings and Rings?
Yeah, I'd call him tonight. I would go ahead and, you know, let Crystal help get that conversation. And he's going to already know what's happening and all Bardstown is. But just say, what I would do is tell him, Brooks asked us to reach out to you first. You've already bought several groups of property from him, and he's always appreciated doing business with you. We know we're going to take a loss on some property, and he wants you to benefit from that versus anyone else. So that's the reason that we're calling you first. And we'd like to sell a group of property and see what he's interested in, and then I'll get a group of stuff put together. Okay.
Okay, you'll let me know on that tomorrow, maybe.
Yeah. So
Was there
go ahead and
anything?
touch base with him and just see if he's interested, and we can go from there. But I think Josh would be too. I think he's got enough stuff going on. He'll keep buying those lots up back there in Copperfields, so we can kind of keep that chugging
Is
along.
that in South Reynolds?
Yes, it is.
All that. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I know that there is a wrongful death lawsuit
$5 million is what Crystal said.
filed by Sherry Ballard and
that is
Crystal's
I've
four
got
other
a regular
children.
policy that goes like to 500,000 and $1 million. Then I've got what's called an umbrella policy that goes to 5 million. But I don't, you got to, insurance people are very, very smart people, and they've got lawyers that write their policies that give them out in situations like this right here.
Oh.
And, they may pay for some attorneys up front, but as far as paying some kind of claim or something out, I wouldn't be too optimistic, on that, and chances are with as high profile this case is, they're not really going to try to settle that out of court in a wrongful death suit. They're going to try to get a sympathetic jurors to award us something astronomical.
Oh, for sure.
Understand what I'm saying? So
I think it was for $5 million.
Sell what you can right now and try to. Just what I'm saying is, I want Eli to have some money, to be able to cover his expenses and everything that's up and coming. If something happens, I'm just gonna. And this is embarrassing, but please help Rhonda and Alex. Please help them.
Oh, every one of us will. Nicholas will. So
This is horrible, but
Yes, I talked to her just.
you guys remember that lady from the Goonies? I don't remember what her name is. The one with the hats.
No, she's not going
She's
home.
the bad
She's
lady.
going home right now because they line the streets or something in Bardstown. They're celebrating and that kind of thing. So she doesn't want to go to the house. And she's strong, but everybody's got their limits. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And I don't know if they're going to attack her or how that's going to go. But the thing of it is, the whole case that they presented in there that they convicted me on, it ain't nothing but a bunch of lies. That's all that it is. And I don't know how that's going to come out, in the future.
Yes.
I don't know how that's going to, I don't know. I've never been down this road, so obviously there's going to be highs and lows for all of us. This is extremely, hard for all of us, to say the least. I mean, this is a major blow. So.
Yeah. I know.
Hey, let me call you back and this is going to cut out. Let me call you back in a little bit, okay?
All right.
Okay, so next
and another set of documents from the trial of Brooks Houck and Joseph Lawson was released this
call is not private. It will be recorded and may be
Okay,
monitored.
there we go.
If you believe this
Not
should be a
fast
private
enough.
call, please hang up and follow facility instructions to register this number as a private number. To consent to this recorded call, press 1. To disconnect, thank you for using Securus. You may start the conversation now.
You see it?
Hey, Brooke.
Hey, am I calling you too much?
No, not at all. I need you to call me.
No, I just wanted to call you back to tell you, hey, I need you to stay in contact. You know, try to hold everybody together. You understand? Somebody out there needs to be the glue to keep everybody together and everybody informed on what's going on. You know, you've got the time, you know, to do that. Not that nobody else does, but just to make it a priority. You know, to call Nicholas, Rhonda, Crystal, and Eli.
It's a fair point.
Keep everybody together and just try to help everybody as much as you can. You know, this is, once this sinks in, you know, it's probably going to get worse before it gets better. You understand?
I was muted.
Yes, but I'll
We still have plenty more to
everything
go.
I
Don't
can.
worry.
You know, what can try to, you know, I can't, they're not going to give me any books in this jail here, but I don't know how much longer I'll be here, but you need to be doing some research from a child's perspective and for the adult, like a parenting, to try to help me and Eli remain connected.
Hey, we're going to do everything we can for him. And he did get to talk to Crystal, and I think that helped him.
Good. We're going to need, you know, all the help that I can get, you know, for him. And, you know, I know Rhonda and Alex will do everything that they can. I want.
Well, we will too.
It's a fair
I
point.
want to remain as active in his life as much as I possibly can. I don't want to add any stress on his life, but.
Well, I think that's important to him too. You know, calling him a lot, we'll visit him a lot. You know, we'll get through this and we'll keep Eli strong. And I think with your help, you know, calling him, you know, write him a letter or whatever, just engage as much as you can with him. And that will
After
help.
verdict? No, that one's next, actually.
Hey, you know, go ahead and call Brian, and in their office, I don't know the guy's name, but there is an appeals attorney, and I don't really know what all that entails and what it includes, but I mean, from the sounds of it, that's my next step. So try to go ahead and get the ball rolling, you know, on.
Brian gave his phone number to Rhonda today.
For an appeals attorney.
And also, she asked Brian for a good child attorney. So, you know, he gave her a phone number to call for Eli's protection.
All right.
So, is there anything else you can think of?
About what? No, I mean, that's obviously he's my biggest concern.
I know he is.
You know, we're fortunate we got Rhonda out there that, you know.
I haven't watched him yet, so, or listened to him.
You know,
yet,
her
so.
and Alex can do what they're doing. I'm blessed there, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, imagine going through this right here, and they take your kid and put them in a foster home, and then your kid don't know anybody there, and you know, just
that would be terrible. Yeah.
That happens.
Well, so right there, we can be thankful for that. You know. But we'll go and talk to that Mr. Hill tomorrow, and I will talk to Rob. I'll go up there to the bank in person and talk to him. And I'll tell him how much you want everything paid up, and you want to entirely do your part with him because he's so good to us.
Yeah, just let him know. It might take a little bit of time, but we'll be able to knock that down.
Okay. Do you want me to check into that insurance policy that you have for the $5 million?
Yeah, I mean, and what you could do is just call Jennifer and ask her to. Yeah, you can check into it all you want. Just that's fine. See where we stand at, what's going on there. So I think you ought to start with Jennifer there because I think they done went through that policy.
Okay. All right.
Casey Anthony, what a piece of work she
Are you
was.
still in the room by yourself?
Yeah, I don't know how long they'll leave me in here, but it'll probably be, they're going to observe me. To me, this is which I'm not a psychiatric nurse or whatever, but when I came back, they took me straight to her before I even dressed out. She's the one that ordered this, and the best thing that I could be right now is with other people in a room where I'm being social with other people. I'm at a picnic table playing some cards or a game of checkers or chess or something like that, or just talking with people. There are several books to read, but they put me in here, and then I can't have no books. They put me in here. I don't even have underwear on. They put me in a turtle suit in here, and I've got a mat on the ground and a nylon thing on the ground. And there's nothing else, they give you a paper spoon to eat with, so you can't hurt yourself. And I guess it's just where people are suicide watch, but I've never had a problem. I got a problem with my mental health. I mean, this is just a major setback, but I don't know how long they'll keep me. I don't know how long they'll keep me in here, but those aren't my problems. My problem is not being with Eli. That's my problem.
Yes. Do you have a phone in that room?
Yeah, that's the reason. One of the COs out there had a heart. She brought me in here. They had me in a little bitty cell just like this one without a phone on. Then they put me in a little bit bigger room where they could that had this kiosk or whatever on here. So I'm just sitting here by myself. But at least I got a phone. But then I'm not trying to run y'all's phone
He
bill.
was probably moved
Crystal, Ron, to you
in
several
hopes
times.
that he says something on these phone calls.
Yeah, well, just keep calling. We're driving.
That would be my
now
guess.
right home, but keep calling.
What does Bruce think?
He couldn't believe it. He could not. We could not believe it. I just don't understand that.
Those jury members had to have outside knowledge of other stuff going on.
I honestly don't think that's true.
That.
Yeah, one of them wore pink. You know that?
I didn't know it.
Yeah, one of them always wore pink.
Was it you, Terry? True crime?
Know. I just, right now, it's still, it's kind of
It hadn't sunk in. It hadn't even sunk in. But the best thing they could do is if I could get out of this room right here that I'm in, it would help me to be put back into population with other people would really help me.
Yeah.
That might not make sense to you.
Well,
but it's a big deal because they put you here by yourself.
Yeah. One of those officers, we asked, where were you going to, be taken? And he said back to Oldham County, and it may be just shortly that they're going to take you back.
Yeah, that would be good. If they put me in a dorm. I mean, I don't know if they put me in a single cell up there too, but it would be nice if I could get into a dorm with some other, other people.
I know here it usually takes about a month. After somebody is sentenced to go to prison, they have to go to like this one center that's like orientation
something
place where they
can
like
whenever
do all
they
these
put you in a
evals and
room by
everything, and then
yourself
they
like this.
ship you off
So,
to a
and
prison.
maybe it's just they said it's
So,
for my own safety, but I've never had a problem with, I've never had a problem like with the stuff that they're talking about. I've never,
What is there? I mean, if I could make a phone call to anybody, I would. But
Hey, listen, I'm property of the state now.
yeah. I
You
mean,
don't have any ability to call in here and tell these people no.
Okay. Well, whenever, of course, now when they come in there to get you to take you back to Oldham County, when you get to Oldham County, will you be able to give us a call?
Yeah, I mean, eventually I'm sure I will, but just in checking in and transporting might take a minute. But if I ever don't call you all need to know it's because I don't have access to a phone. I'm not avoiding you all or anything like that.
Yeah.
Let me give them this tray real quick. Hold on.
it doesn't surprise me that they put him in a watch room with it being high profile. That's
Hello,
usually pretty
this is a
standard.
prepaid collect call from
Oh, speaking of, here's the one with his
an
brother.
incarcerated individual at Warren County Regional Jail. This call is not private. It will be recorded and may be monitored. If you believe this should be a private call, please hang up and follow facility instructions to register this number as a private number. To accept charges and consent to this recorded call, press 1. To refuse charges, press thank you for using Securus. You may start the conversation now.
Hello.
Hey, Ron. Hey, I was trying to. Did Mom let you know I was going to try? I was trying to call, get a hold of Nick.
Okay. I've been with Nicholas, and I'm walking up here right now. Do you want to speak with him?
Yeah, I would. You don't have to run or nothing like that. I tell you're walking fast, but yeah,
I'm trying.
I know it. I would like to talk to him. Just, I know he's worried about his brother.
Yeah. Hold on just a second. I'm getting. Hey, Nick. Oh, this is Brooks on the phone. He wanted to talk to you.
Hey, Brooks.
Hey, how are you?
Let me take this off speakerphone so I can. I got it. Thank you. Can you hear me, Brooks?
I can. How are you?
I mean, I guess it's to be expected.
And I understand that. I'm just, and of course, this is hard to process. I struggle. I can't really even believe what's happened. I felt good going in there, the best that I could given the circumstances and situation and all.
Which one?
I can't believe that I misread things like I did. I guess we all did,
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if these people just, with the political press behind the case and everything, maybe they felt like they had to do that to protect themselves, or I don't know what happened. It's just going to take several days, several weeks to even start to comprehend this.
Yes, because listen, of course, the journey that my life has taken has completely turned around today. You understand that? After a jury speaks like they did, that's a permanent decision. I know there's an appeals process, but with
it's pretty permanent.
Political pressure behind this right here, and the appellate court judges, and I don't see them changing.
I'll bring your phone to you. I'll bring your phone to you. You don't have to wait. I'll bring your phone to you. Go ahead. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
I don't see the appellate court judges changing anything. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, I just, I'm in disbelief.
There's nothing I can do, and listen, the main reason I just wanted to call to tell you and all of your help with Eli, and I have greatly appreciated. I'm telling you, it's just what I'm going to ask you next is it's just getting started, because I need you to help Veronica and Alex all that you can with him, and try to give him the most normal, natural childhood that he could possibly get, and take him fishing, take him hunting, do all the things that I should.
Yeah. And I hear you. I don't, you know, I'm going to do everything I can for Eli. I mean, you can rest it. There's no reason for you to worry about that. I know you're worried about what I'm saying. I'm going to do everything that I possibly can. So is Rhonda and Alex. I mean, we've got Eli's back. So, I mean, just know that everything that can be done will be done for Eli.
That's my biggest concern. I know that you all will. I just want to make it, you know, I should have prioritized my time differently. You know, those are the best 10 years. You know, of my life, you know, with Eli out there, and I need to know for sure that, you know, all this other stuff, you know, they're going to come and take any assets that I have. That's, you know, that is what it is. That's not a problem for me. What the problem is that I need to know for sure and that Eli's cared for.
And, you know, I mean, you know me well, you know, Rhonda and Alex, and I'm telling you, you know, you couldn't get 3 better people on the face of the earth to take
His
that
sister
job.
Rhonda.
And, you know, I mean,
I agree with that.
I don't think there's, you know, like you said, there's an appellate, you know, process. I know that it might not be very likely, but you know, there's no reason to, let's just don't talk like this yet. You got a million things spinning around in your mind, and I know that Eli and I'm sure Crystal's at the top, you know, of that pyramid. But man, you know, we're going to take care of Eli the best we possibly can. You know, I mean, and it's just going to take several. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, and I agree. But listen, I'm going to have Mom and Crystal work on trying to sell, you know, a good portion chunk of this property. Listen, and I want you to ask Alex and Rhonda to try to, you know, I've got a battery charger down there at the barn. You all can get on YouTube and figure out how to start. And, you know, of course, I can answer any questions that you all have on it to the best of my ability. Get that equipment started, get it cleaned up, and I want to try to sell that to cover, you know, all Eli's expenses for, you know, tuition, school, just all his stuff. And I want to get that money to Ron and Alex. You know, that SkyTrack, my Bobcat, the Vico, that high lift down there, the dump trucks, those trailers, all that stuff can be sold. And you all just need to get on Google, and as smart as you and Alex are and Ron, you all can get the titles to that stuff. Crystal can help you get that and figure out what, you know, you talk to me too about it, but figure out what that stuff's worth. And, you know, try to take some pictures of that stuff outside. You won't take pictures good in that farm, but you take it outside in the parking lot, don't get nothing in the background. You all can get some pictures, and there's no sense in waiting on that. I'd go ahead and get those pictures and start marketing that stuff, start going ahead and working on that while the weather's good and it's not wintertime. You know, it's perfect weather to do that right now. Don't do that in front of Eli. I don't want you all doing, I want you all to be smart when you're doing stuff where Eli's going to know y'all are selling all my daddy's stuff, and that's going to be another one more bloating.
Yes, I understand.
Oh, his sister Rhonda.
That, you know, as discreetly, you know, as you can, and, you know, you can just slowly start selling that stuff. And I know Eli's going to notice it, but just try to protect his mental health as much as you can, and, you know, that way I can be sure that Ron and Alex get some money for, you know, his support and all of his costs. I don't want Eli to be an inconvenience.
I'm surprised all their stuff's not in like a family trust or something.
You know, they've already got 3 kids.
He's not. I understand what you're saying, Brooks. Man, Eli he'll be fine. Any kind of financial needs or anything, I'm going to be there, and Rhonda and Alex are there. But, you know, I'm going to take part in that. It's not like I'm just pushing this off on Rhonda and Alex. I promise you.
thank you for everything that you're doing. But I'm just saying, just go ahead and get money ahead right now. I don't want it to cost you all either. You know, he's my son, and I want to do everything that I can with my hands are tied in here. But there's enough stuff out there. I don't care if, you know, if you take a good loss. I mean, try to get as much as you can for all this stuff, but sell all that stuff and don't wait, or go ahead and sell it.
We won't wait. We'll take care of business, and I'm sure in the next few days we'll be in contact with you. You're going to come up with a lot of other things.
You know
that
about
need
the
done,
Adelsons?
and we're going to be there for you, Brooks.
It's wild.
And there's a good chance that I'm going to die in here. Do you understand that?
And I don't even want to think like that.
Well, I'm just telling you that they're saying 20 years parole, but you know what's going to happen. They're going to show up at every one of those meetings, and all the family members are going to show up at the meetings, and the pressure is going to prevent them from releasing me. I mean, 20 years later down the road, I mean, Eli will be 32. You understand?
Yes.
And they,
Yes,
yeah, so, you know, I'm already 43, so, you know, I'm just telling you, I'm just being realistic. Things do not look good.
You know, my feet are just not on the floor at all. I mean, it's going to take me a long time to even come to terms. Or really, this is like a dream.
Oh, for sure, Simone.
You know,
well, it's not. You know, it's real, and that's what you know, I knew when I saw Brian earlier. We talked about this. I knew it was the end of the road when I talked to him.
Probably
and
not.
There's nothing I can do to change, you know, any of it. I can't believe I was blindsided because, you know, I was there through the trial, and I mean, I was reading the jury. I mean, Bruce and, you know, people, you know, Rhonda, Mom, you know, Anne Marie, Bernadette. I mean, we all saw, you know, I didn't see it coming. I didn't see it at all. And, you know, whenever the penalty phase came up, not only did they, you know, convict me of murder, but they went to the high end. They went to the maximum penalty, and that's not that ain't normal. You understand what I'm saying?
I don't think any part of this trial or process has been normal.
Hi, elbow feet. Hey, babes. Hope you're having a good day at
I
work.
do know that you'll do what you can for Eli, but you know, if you remember when you were a kid, you know, it don't matter if it's riding go-karts or what it is, fishing or hunting. I'm just, those activities and sports, please make the time to do that.
I'm telling you, I promise you that will get done. And like you said, that's not a hindrance to me or anything like that. I mean, I love Eli to death. And man, I'm going to do everything that I can for him.
And, you know, anytime that you can, try to bring me up to him in positive light throughout that process.
You can count on it.
I do feel very bad for Eli.
I mean,
are you staying by yourself, or are you staying out there with Rhonda and Alex?
no, I mean, you know, no, I mean, you know where I live over there in town. I mean,
yeah. And the reason I say that is I don't really, you know, I told Mom to take really good care of herself and her health, you know, physically and mentally, because, you know, Eli needs all of us. You know, we all have to remain strong for his benefit. So I don't need somebody, you know, doing something to jeopardize one of his caregivers that would hurt him in any way. So, you know, I need you to stay healthy. I need you to stay mentally, you know, alert. I need you to stay balanced and healthy physically and mentally. You understand what I'm saying?
yes, I do.
Because if something happens to any one of us, it just hurts Eli further. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yes, I agree with you 100%.
So I really need, you know, Eli needs as many people as he can. And, you know, me and Eli have always had such a great relationship. And nobody's going to replace
She didn't like
me
Crystal,
to
so.
him. but you all can elevate yourself on a new higher pedestal to him to, I'm not saying spoil him and that'll just hurt him, but there's a fine line there where I just want you all to love him and give him the best life that he can get.
I promise you that we'll do everything that we
You have
possibly
1 minute
can. And you know, it's not like, you know, none of us can replace you, but we will do everything in our power to help Eli any way we can. You know, I mean, you know that I'm telling you the truth
Yes,
about that.
I do, and I just want that stuff so good. I don't want that to be a financial hindrance.
It's not a financial thing. Money means nothing to me.
I
Okay?
mean, it is
I'm
weird that
telling
he
you,
did
whatever
say
Eli needs,
that the
we'll
last
make
10
sure
years
he
were the
gets
best
it.
years
I
of his
promise.
life.
I'm never going to be able to read.
It's kind of weird.
Hey, Brooks, man, listen, it's not about getting stuff replaced. I've got enough things going on.
I'm not saying replace. I'm saying I'll never be able to repay you all for what you all
I
do.
understand what you're saying. That's not a hindrance or anything. You know, we're only here on Earth for a little while.
Thank you
Don't
for
worry
using
about it.
Securus. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Hello, this is a
Oh,
prepaid.
we're not going to Rhonda yet. Next up is Crystal Maupin. In case you guys weren't here for my deep dive. Oh, hold on, let me share this tab instead. Oh, get together, Llama. Crystal Maupin, he started dating like a year or so after Crystal disappeared. I don't remember exactly. It was 2016 or 2017. And she got arrested and got in trouble for stealing Crystal Rogers' signs. There's Signgate. Probably the most lighthearted thing we could cover when covering everything that happened in Bardstown was all of this drama over signs, you know, like Help Find Crystal. And then there were some that were very accusatory of the Houcks, and it was wild. But anyway, that's Crystal. Another Crystal that he's been dating, I guess, since then. I don't believe they ever got married. So they've been together for quite a while. I don't know what their status is now, but I guess we'll find out from this jail phone call. I think somebody said yesterday she ended up moving out of his house. But I can neither confirm or deny that. I don't know. Okay, let's move this up. Oh, that's the wrong screen. So silly. Okay.
This is a prepaid collect call from
Signgate.
An incarcerated individual at Warren County Regional Jail. This call is not private. It will be recorded and may be monitored. If you believe this should be a private call, please hang up and follow facility instructions to register this number as a private number. To accept charges and consent to this recorded call, press 1. To refuse charges, thank you for using Securus. You may start the conversation now.
Hello.
Hey, honey.
Yes,
Hey, can you hear me?
I can.
Maybe the only thing we can do is just try to look at the positive side of this right here. I want you to know that I'm gonna keep fighting. You know, I'm gonna start this appeals process. Maybe I don't have no words right now that can heal what you're going through.
I know, babe. I'm just,
I felt good going into this right here. You know, the only thing that me, Brian and Steve came up with is there was people on the jury that knew a lot more about this case going into it than what they heard in the courtroom. That's the only thing that we can kind of see.
I agree. And that's what Courtney said, especially with them, you know, with Joey too. I mean, there was nothing on Joey other than what some drug addicts and drunks said. Courtney said that's the only explanation.
Mm-hmm.
So, honey, I tell you, I love you so much.
I love you too, babe. then, and I told Courtney, I said, the only thing there is to do is for them to appeal it. And I know Brian and them would do that. I said they probably already had the paperwork drawn up, knowing this was, it was a
Do
possibility.
you guys think the jury must have known other things? Because I don't know what they could have known.
And I hate that you're saddled.
We didn't learn anything new.
With all this, you've been so loyal. You've been wonderful. You've been wonderful.
It's true.
And I think back, honey, I could have done more.
Babe, I love you. I mean,
I know, and now I just feel like we've been all these years together, and we're a little past midlife, and you're young, honey. You've got a lot of life left to live.
Babe, we're not done yet.
I love you so much, honey. I don't deserve you.
Babe, don't start talking like that. And we're not done.
I can't do anything for you in here. You deserve a wonderful life, honey. You by choice, you chose to put yourself in this when you didn't have to. I didn't have that choice, and Eli's tore up. Rhonda do what she can for him, but next.
I don't know.
I don't know how long this appeals process is. I don't think it's super long, but I don't think it's going to be fast neither. You know what I mean?
Right.
Appeals are not
call
fast.
Rhonda to see what her plan was on telling Eli where he was at, how he's doing, but I didn't get an answer.
Yeah, we'll just try her again. I did speak to him just a while ago. Of course, he's taking it hard.
He is.
Yes, he is. Of course he would.
I'm glad that they did not share his phone call
That's what I told Courtney.
with Eli.
Just breathe, honey. Just breathe.
It's one thing for me to go do this, but my biggest worry, my biggest concern is Eli.
I know it. But hey, I'm blessed that I've got such a support system out there to take care of him. I know you all do everything, for him, and I'm just lucky and fortunate that I don't have that to worry about on top of being in here. But I want you all to know that I'm gonna remain positive and focused, and
Do you know where they're going to move you to, when they're going to move you, or any of that?
I don't think I'll be here real long. I think they'll send me back up there in Oldham County. I don't know that I'll go to Oldham County. There's another place up there called the Rotary Farm, and that's a prison up there that they do like classification, which of course my charge is super serious, but I don't have any. I've never been in trouble before. I've never been in any fights. I've never even been in any kind of verbal altercation in here. I've never been disciplined by any guard, so all that stuff's going to help me. But I'll go up there.
When will you be someplace to where
I can hope? Yes. I would say probably within probably 2, maybe 3 months.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
A lot quicker than that, But they're going to send me up there. They've already given me that pre-sentencing report or whatever. But that's what I told Eli too. I'll be able to hug and hold him, honey. I don't. They say God's got a plan for your life, but I sure didn't. I don't know how this comes into that, but evidently, this is where I'm at right now. So I'm going to make the most of it, and I'm going to do whatever classes I can But just for them to given me the maximum on everything, and as quick as they've done it, I'm telling you something. There were some members on that jury that I feel like that I
Not
don't know.
true.
What's that?
That's not true.
Yes, exactly. So, we just, Bruce felt good about everything. Obviously it's a tough situation for everybody, but Bruce felt good about it. Alex did. I did. Ron did. We all did. And
Yeah.
and for that to have happened the way that it did, but it is what it.
I'm going to do my best to get through the next week or
Oh,
2
yeah, for
weeks.
sure.
And then just try my best to get back to normal the best I can. And we'll just have to wait it out.
All right, baby. That sounds good to me. I'm lucky and fortunate to have you. I want you to be with Kaylin or Courtney all the time. I do not want you being by yourself. You understand?
Yeah. Well, I don't want to go back to Barstown right now.
No, that's fine.
Just because of everything
those
going
two.
on. So,
Yikes.
I've been talking to Kimberly, Kaylin, and Courtney, trying to figure out where I can go to just. I'm not going to be comfortable going to Kaylin or Courtney's house. I'm not going to be able to sit still.
Yeah.
All this stuff in my head. I don't want to go to the house and just sit there and be by myself. So
I agree with that. Hey, are you going to be able to right now for the time being, are you going to be able to keep up with the rentals?
Yes. Now I'm probably going to, like I said, I can have Courtney get rent checks, get the mail.
All right.
I just told her don't go to the house today, probably not tomorrow.
All right.
They're lining the street as people are coming back into town.
Mm.
So
that ain't gonna last. That there don't amount to nothing right now, honey.
I know, but I don't want to be in the house and shit happening and.
All right.
But yeah, I'm going to take a few days away from the house, and then, like I said, just try my best to get back to normal.
All right.
What my normal has been the last almost two years. It's not going to be normal.
I understand. Hey, you need to, and you don't have to do none of this right now, but talk to my mom. You all get a plan to try to get Terry to sell.
I will. I'm just, because of everything that's been going on and talk and all that stuff, I'm afraid now that they think they've done this to you, they're going to come after more.
Hey, let me jump over. There's some people at the door.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, I love you very much. I'll call you in a little bit, okay?
Okay. Love you.
So that's end of hers. And then the last one we have to watch is with a sister Rhonda, and then we will do some talking points about these because I have some thoughts. Oh, silly me. I got to switch screens. Oh, my goodness. Let's move that up. And there we go.
At Warren County Regional Jail. This call is not private. It will be recorded and may be monitored. If you believe this should be a private call, please hang up and follow facility instructions to register this number as a private number. To accept charges and consent to this recorded call, press 1. To refuse charge.
Hello?
Hey, Rhonda.
Yes.
Hey, how are you?
Well, we just made it back to the Airbnb. So
Really good. Have you talked to Eli?
yes,
What did he say?
he's having a hard time right now, Brooks.
And we all are. I understand that. What did he do?
So,
How did you explain
oh,
it to him?
hey, he's walked outside. He heard me say that Brooks is calling, and he's walked outside. He knows that I'm on the phone with you. He's standing right here beside me. Alex and I, we spoke with him, and Mom was in the room as well. We spoke with him without, the other children being around, and I kind of explained to him that, the circumstances, the jury members listened to both sides of the lawyers, and it was put into their hands, and that they found a guilty verdict. And so Eli's question was, how long? And so that's really difficult to explain to a child.
And what you have to do, Rhonda, is just because this has happened right now does not mean that we quit fighting, that I'm going to quit fighting. I'm going to go through the appeals process. It's important to let Eli know exactly where we're at. And I'm going to get in these parenting, programs. I don't really know what that entails right now.
Okay.
I'm going to do that from, obviously, it's going to be a very different situation, but let him know I love him so much.
He knows that. He knows that. And by looking at his face right now, he understands.
And
he's listening to you right now. He can hear you.
We're very fortunate that he's with you and Alex and the other kids. Hey, Eli, can you hear me?
Oh, okay. Oh, sorry, guys. Hope that hasn't been happening. Oof. Oh my gosh. There we go.
You in Bowling Green.
I don't know, Rhonda. That's the thing is, somebody just had a heart in here, and they moved me to a little different room. They've got me under observation, and the nurse and that kind of thing. So I don't want to get into all that. But
Yeah,
I've
he's
got a
between
phone
12
right
and
now. If
13
there's
now.
a period of time that I don't call you all, you know that it's not because I'm not calling. Know that it's because I don't have access to a phone. Okay.
You know what's funny is that same ringing is literally going on outside my house for like the last hour and a half. I'm also glad that they muted him talking to his son Eli, because I think that's important. Just check real quick. Nope. Okay. Oh, he does get off the phone around here with him.
Hey, Rhonda.
Hey,
There we
yeah.
go.
Hey, Rhonda, the only thing you can do is give him, can he still hear me?
Oh, hugs
No.
to everybody in
No,
chat.
it's cutting out a little bit. Let me walk over here where I can hear you better.
I want to put all your
Go
guys'
ahead.
business on screen, but
The only thing you can do, Rhonda,
hugs to all of you.
is give him the best life that you can. Can you hear me?
Yes, I did hear you. I spoke with Brian, and he's given me a contact for an attorney in Louisville that would be willing to help with like custody and visitation and all that. So that may be something that we need to,
Yeah,
we're going to have to address that.
Yeah, go ahead and go ahead and get the ball rolling on all that, Rhonda, and get Miss Tammy on board. She'll be involved with all that, and you know what to do there, Rhonda. There's no question about that. You know what to do. Get the attorney to help us there, and we ain't going to talk about that. I mean, I don't have no choice in that matter. What about Mom? How's she doing?
I have to say that, I was really proud of how she handled it in the courtroom, and I was proud of her for that. So to sit there and, to witness that, I think that she handled it very well.
Yes, I think so too. Have you talked to Crystal?
Well, I text her whenever, Jennifer had texted us and said there's a verdict. And so I text Crystal, and I think Crystal slept a little bit in or something today, so she wasn't there this morning. And then I'm not for sure what's happened. I've not spoke to her yet. I did text her, and I said, there's a verdict, so.
All right, I'll try to reach out and call her. You call her and let her know that, hey, if for some reason she doesn't hear from me, let her know that it's because I don't have access to a phone and that kind of thing there, Rhonda. But just you're strong, Rhonda, and just try to hold everybody together. Does Nicholas know?
I did, yes. I called him a while ago whenever we were driving out through here, and he is aware, and he said, is there any type of appeal process or what can be done?
Yeah, so that's something you can ask Brian. There's a person that specializes in appeals, and that'll be our next thing. But go ahead and get the ball rolling on the attorney for that, and
for that is in the appeal or like Eli?
Both of them. You have to go ahead and get both of them going.
Yeah.
Get both of them going. Okay, Rhonda.
That's true.
Okay.
Rhonda, thank you so much for all that you've done. Listen, what you need to do next is, Crystal ain't gonna want to mess with this right now. So really, what you need to do is, get Alex involved in this right here. You need to get, however you can market them, but those, the dump trucks and all my equipment and stuff out there. You need to get Alex working on getting that stuff charged up. He can get on YouTube to figure it out, or we'll pull it outside and take pictures of it and either
Shout out to YouTube.
Try to do something with it.
Okay.
And listen, and that way I want to try to figure out to get some money ahead for all of Eli's expenses and everything. So you all keep that, for Eli. Okay. So I'd go ahead and try to get Alex working on that, and he can find stuff out by serial numbers on there, and blue booking it or whatever to figure out what stuff's worth, and you all can ask me to, and I can try to guide you and go ahead and start trying to sell that stuff there. And you know, that's the best thing I can take, because all that stuff doesn't mean a thing to me. Okay. And then I'm going to try to get a realtor to start just trying to sell some of this stuff, pay back Springfield State Bank, and all that stuff there done. I don't know if Crystal's going to mess with them rentals or not anymore, or what she's going to do. So, and I get that, I understand it. You know, because we're on that civil case is what's coming next. Do you understand?
Yes. Yeah.
You know, so they're going to take everything. They're going to take everything that I've got. So go ahead and try to get what you can for it, because I won't have no way to, you know, to pay you all for all Eli's stuff. So that's the reason I'm saying try to get it now, and you know, that way we'll be a little bit ahead on that. You know, so. But I'll do my best to remain as positive as I can. But hey, try to talk to Crystal. I'm sure she's tore all the pieces.
Yeah. Yeah.
Of course.
Hey, Mom is wanting to talk to you. She's about to take the phone out of my hand.
All right, and if this hangs up, I'll call you back or whatever. But a lot of times she don't answer her phone.
Well, hey, here she is. I think we have a couple more. So you can just talk to me. Hey, Brooks.
Hey, how are you?
Okay.
I was very proud of you for how you handled yourself in there. I was very, I know this is a trying time for our entire family, and you all have been there. We've all stuck together throughout this whole thing. So, you know, just it means so much to me that you all are, you know, supportive and we're united as we are.
Yes. Yes. Well, I don't understand, but anyway, you know, we're going to stay strong, and I hope you can too. I'm so proud of you. You've handled it better than most.
Yeah, I mean, it all continue. I mean, we're all going to have our highs and lows going through this. You know, there's a lot of grieving that's gonna, you know, we're part in denial right now, just
That's
because
true.
we're in shock. You know, we all thought something different was going to happen.
Yes.
And you know, so we're in shock and denial. And that's expected right now. But just try to remain positive.
You have 1 minute left.
You know, positive and focused. I'll do the same thing. And you all need to reach out and be touching base with Crystal, because let me tell you something. She's gonna be tore up. She's not gonna be able to handle these rentals. But I want you to talk to Terry. You need to figure out a plan to sell as many of these houses as possible to lighten that load, because you're not going to oversee that and keep that running. And you know, so I want to get Springfield State Bank paid off. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes, I do.
That needs to be done. So listen,
Doesn't mean pay a
there's
bank
an
off.
investor out there. He owns wings and I don't, you know, if I'm going to give somebody a good deal, the person that I want to give it to is that works at he owns
Thank
wings.
you for using Securus.
Okay.
Goodbye.
I'm going to call you.
Anyway, okay, so that is all of the interviews that I'm sorry. Come on, you know how to work the screen, Llama, taking myself down like that. So those are all of the phone calls that have been out. I am happy that they did not put the conversation with the son out, because that is a very personal phone call, I'm sure, for Eli. And none of us really needed to hear that. Yeah, they talk a lot about money. I feel like his attorneys should have already told him to not sell things, because they had already filed the wrongful death lawsuit. I want to say a year ago. I don't know. I covered it in the deep dive, and I want to say it was 24. And that was Sherry and her 4 other children filing a wrongful death lawsuit against Brooks, which I think was held off because of the criminal trial, because usually if you get a conviction of this, it's easier to get it in civil court. And I would imagine those lawyers were probably like, try not to sell anything. But because they haven't even talked about restitution yet either. Maybe that'll be talked about in sentencing, or maybe it'll be postponed to a later date, like they did with Brian Koberger. Remember, he was being sentenced and they're like, we'll talk about additional restitution later. So maybe there's that. I know that they think that some people in the jury might have known more about the case, and that's why they voted the way that they did. And I don't know if that necessarily makes any sense to me, because we didn't really find out anything new. What I think might have been the case, we haven't heard anything from jurors, so this is all speculation, but sometimes in situations like these, they're not supposed to, but people, because we're human beings, want to try to solve a case, in scenarios like this, where it's not clear cut what happened. And I'm sure that many of them, like many of us, were like, oh, he definitely probably had something to do with that. Why lie? The timeline, yes. And that may have just been enough for them. Like, oh, we know probably it's this guy. That's not how a jury should work. Before anyone's like, yeah, no, I know. That's why I had the opinions I did, that it wasn't, I would have been not guilty because they didn't really prove anything. But I feel like that was probably a big factor in their decision making as well. Was like, okay, well, who else could it have been? This makes a lot of sense that it would be him. And that's enough. That's the thing when you take trials to jury, right? You get two choices. You can either take it to a jury, or you could do a bench trial and take it in front of the judge. I'm curious as to how this would have done if it was in front of the judge. Because legally speaking, I would think the judge would have the same feelings about it as we did, because legally they really don't have anything. But you know what? We'll never know. It is what it is. And, of course they're going to blame the jury. That's, I'm sure, normal for anyone. I don't think anyone on this jury had really any prior knowledge, because you can go, they released all of jury selection. It's like a day and a half. I think you can see it on Wave 3's YouTube channel, because I skipped over it because I was like, oh, we're not going to do a whole day and a half of jury selection, because I found it fascinating, but that's a lot of streaming for that. And it's something you don't normally see. So, I mean, it's there. You guys can go and see if you think people might have known something ahead of time. But, I would think they would be frozen too, but I don't know. Lady in Gray says a judge ruled he can't sell anything without judicial approval because of that suit. He is justified in selling for appellate attorneys, and I don't have an issue with that. True. But also you can be granted an appellate attorney for your first one, if I remember right. So yeah, I would think that they'd all be frozen too. And again, I'm surprised they didn't put all this stuff in one of those untouchable family trusts. Since they're so suave with monies. The only thing that he said in all of those phone calls that really just kind of was like, what? Was when he said, oh, the last 10 years have been the best 10 years of my life. That is very specific. That means that your life got better after Crystal went missing. I understand you had your son for 10 years, but you also had him for 2 years prior to that. And that's kind of a weird thing to say. It's kind of a weird thing to say. So they did file a motion. Michael Green Chili Chicken says, yes, after these phone calls were released, a motion was filed to freeze all assets. I'm surprised it wasn't already done, but not surprised. How so? That's true. Lady in Grace says that a bench trial depends on the judge. No way would Karen Reed have gone with bench trial with Beth. And see, that's the thing too, is I think even in this case, I would think that the judge would be like, yeah, no, this isn't working. But he is a judge from Nelson County, you know? And with this kind of case, I don't know. But yeah, that with Bev, oh. I will say this about the judge, though. In that trial, we heard all the sidebars. I do feel like that judge was a very fair judge. It did not come across in any way, shape, or form that he favored one side or another. Like, he heard their arguments and all of that. I thought he did a very, very good job as a judge. Yes, as Lady in Gray says, it's not required jurors know nothing about a case, just that they have to be able to set aside anything they have heard. That is very true. You can know about a case. You can be like, yeah, I know about Crystal Rogers. I don't know anything besides, the basics. And you could still get on a jury as long as you say you can put things aside. But generally, they don't let those people on generally, because it's like, a lot of people can say that. But then when push comes to shove, can you? So Simone says, if I was Eli, I wouldn't want anything from my dad. Listen, I'll tell you, it's complicated. All right. It's complicated. I've been in a very similar situation, and it's very complicated, let alone when he also doesn't have a mom around. It's really complicated stuff. I hope that he doesn't blame himself for anything. I hope the family gets him whatever help he needs to go through this, because when you have a parent that is locked up, I don't know how to explain this, but it feels like they're a ghost. It's a really bizarre thing to try to explain. It's because they're here, but they're also not. And Eli's going to have a really difficult time when holidays come up. He's going to probably feel like there's an elephant in the room for every single family thing, because that's just how it is. So I feel really, really a lot for Eli. Her other children, of course, too. But he's just so young. The other ones are young too, but he is caught in the middle. What are they going to do with custody regarding Eli? I don't know, because I don't know what Kentucky law is. I know in Ohio that if a parent is convicted of killing the other parent, they forfeit all rights to the kid. And then the families would then probably have to pay for it. It would probably I'm sure he signed guardianship over to his sister in a way, but I doubt it's legally permanent. I'm not sure. I'm not familiar with Kentucky, family laws. So, yeah, they also only moved him over to SL because they wanted to listen to him talk to his family. For real. That's my belief in that. Yeah, Eli and, of course, the other children, that's all of the children, did not get an answer of what happened to their mother in this entire trial. And that's so sad. And I think that's what really frustrates me about the whole thing. But okay, kiddos. Well, we have wrapped up the interview and the phone calls. Now what we're going to do next is we're going to pop over to a separate stream, and we're going to do day one of the Steve Lawson trial. It is not very long. It's like we'll probably be on for like 3.5 hours. It's pretty short and sweet. Because I think they do jury selection in the morning, which we're not watching. They should portal you to the next one, but if it doesn't, the stream's already like up on our channel, so just pop back there, hit live, and you'll see the upcoming stream. So she's been through the foster care system. Oh, girl, yeah, I'm sorry to hear that for you. I hope that that's not what happens to him either. I don't think so, but I'm more curious is he going to be able to talk to his other siblings? Because in our deep dive, we learned that custody had been an issue since Crystal's disappearance. And then at a certain point, the judge had ordered, not this judge, a different judge, had ordered that Sherry's visitation with Eli was cut off because the judge felt that they would say too many bad things to Eli about what they thought of, because they were so publicly vocal about how they felt about Brooks and his guilt and that he did it. And so the judge, even though according to Sherry, they never talked about that when they had Eli. So she was very upset. So I'm curious to see if maybe they might get to, see him and have some time with him. So, all right, kiddos, I will see you on the other side. I'll be starting that in probably like 5 to 10 minutes. I'm going to take a quick little break, maybe eat something real quick before the next one. But I will see you guys on the other side, okay? All right, until 5-10 minutes from now, go forth and be amazing. Bye, guys.